Why Nations Fail is a comprehensive exploration of the relationship between economic prosperity, political power, and institutional development. The authors argue that the key factor that determines the success or failure of nations is the nature of their institutions. The authors differentiate between inclusive and extractive institutions. Inclusive institutions allow for the creation of an economic and political environment that enables people to take advantage of economic opportunities, invest in human capital, and innovate. In contrast, extractive institutions concentrate power and resources in the hands of a small elite, limit economic opportunities, and stifle innovation. The authors illustrate the difference between inclusive and extractive institutions through a series of historical examples. One such example is the contrast between the economic and political institutions of North and South Korea. Despite having similar levels of development in the 1950s, North Korea's extractive institutions have led to economic stagnation and poverty, while South Korea's inclusive institutions have facilitated rapid economic growth and development. The authors also explore the political dynamics that underpin institutional development. They argue that political elites in extractive societies resist institutional reforms because it would threaten their power and control over economic resources. Inclusive institutions, on the other hand, require a commitment to a broad-based distribution of power and resources, and therefore require the consent of the governed. The authors further argue that inclusive institutions require a strong rule of law and an independent judiciary to protect property rights, enforce contracts, and prevent corruption. They suggest that many countries struggle to create such institutions because of the self-interested behavior of their political and economic elites, as well as external factors such as colonialism and geopolitical rivalries. The authors also address some common criticisms of their argument, such as the role of culture and geography in shaping economic outcomes. While they acknowledge that these factors can play a role, they argue that they are ultimately secondary to the role of institutions in shaping economic and political outcomes. Why Nations Fail has been praised for its ability to explain the divergent paths of economic development across the world. The book has been widely cited by scholars and policymakers as an important contribution to the study of development economics, and has sparked important debates about the role of institutions in shaping economic and political outcomes.